And I just love it because that thought felt very Arya to me. Of like,
right,
I've killed a kid.
Yeah, I kissed
the hound.
What up, and welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, your favorite full spoiler reread podcast of George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. I'm Nate. Joining me, as always, is my brother, Zach.
This is our apology episode.
Oh, yeah, it is. I forgot. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah,
but yeah.
Because we were sicky, we wanted to kind of double up this week and get you guys another episode because we missed our Friday.
Since we missed that one last week.
Because we were sick people.
And so this is what would normally have been hitting you guys when that one came out. But, you know, we're going to release it now.
Because we're cool guys like that. You're welcome.
If you've joined us before, we are thankful that you're here and joining us again. If you have not joined us, we are full spoiler. We talk about the books as a whole and as if you have also read them. If you do not want to be spoiled, get the fuck out of here.
A lot of expectation on this podcast that you've done some work yourself, so get to it. Or stay and get spoiled. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I think there's some people that do that anyway, and that's okay. Like, that's you fucking want.
Cool.
So last episode, we were reading Jon 2 from Storm of Swords.
Johnny saw some giants.
Yeah, he started out with Tormund. They were making their way down the Milkwater, or I think they were well past the Milkwater.
They're bros now.
Yeah, they're pretty tight. It's pretty cool. Along with Longspear, Rick, and Ygritte. They've kind of got this little group of them making their way
downtown, walking
and
fast.
You know, there's a lot of talking about Jon and thinking about Jon's vows and keeping his honor with the Night's
and
Watch.
how Ygritte wants a dick.
But, you know, she's just a badass bitch that...
Right, she's gonna take what she wants.
Right, and so he gets attacked by an eagle, and that's Orell, and Rattleshirt summons him for Mance, because Mance has found the Fist of the First Men.
Shit.
And it's fucked. The Whites obviously have decimated it. And
only finding dead horses, though. No
bodies.
Corpses.
Yeah, lots of blood all over.
What does that mean?
Business.
And, yeah, Mance says he's had enough of Jon Snow's bullshit, because he's clearly been lying to him. And he wants it true, how many they have, and Jon, feeling he's forsaking for true now, the vows of the Night's Watch tells him true, 300 men, and they were led by the Old Bear, which Mance thinks is a great boon to them, because if they can beat Mormont back to the wall, they fucking got it. So Mance immediately sent out his men different ways. We got to meet Varamir Sixskins, who's a badass.
Yeah, it was pretty tight.
And he told Jon that you and Ygritte, because you clearly love each other, as Jon confirmed, will go over the wall with Styr and
Jarl.
Mm-hmm. And you're going to be of some use, or Styr can cut out your Black Crow heart. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And they do so. And then Rattleshirt tries to talk some shit, but
Ghost
shows up, and Ygritte tells Jon, I didn't tell him when we started fucking, so let's go make that a thing happen right now. And they do. Well, we assume they do.
They do. But we're not reading Jon this episode.
Fuck nah.
We were reading Sansa. And Sansa 2 of Storm of Swords is what we were reading.
Yeah.
But last episode that we read on Sansa, what was she doing? She was meeting Margaery Tyrell. And
yeah, she was tripping out because she had an invite to sup with Margaery. And and in the Red Keep, she doesn't know that could mean anything and be really from anyone, but she frets over it, gets dressed all fanciful, gets escorted by the beautiful and wondrous Sir Willas Tyrell, who she kind of inserts her foot into her mouth a little bit by talking about Renly and upsetting him a little bit,
not
unintentionally,
how much.
Of course. And she takes her to the Maiden Vault where the Tyrells are staying, LOL, and she meets Margaery, and Margaery sweeps her up and introduces her to her family, and we get to meet Olenna, the fucking Queen of Thorns.
Yeah, it's a fucking cool-ass moment, and she takes her, aside as she gets the singer going louder and louder and starts pelting her with the questions about Joffrey. What the fuck is he like? And gets the truth out of Sansa for it. Sansa's paranoid as fuck.
Yeah, they also reveal that they mean to marry Sansa to Margaery's brother. And at first Sansa's like, yo, Loras, score.
And they're like, shut up, stupid girl.
Yeah, Loras is in the Kingsguard. He can't marry us. No, you'll be marrying our lame brother, Willas, who rules at Highgarden in our father's stead currently. And Sansa's kind of disappointed by that, but still elated at the thought of Highgarden and escaping the hellhole that is King's Landing. On to Sansa 2. Sansa's getting fitted for a new gown. What up, girl? Getting those measurements. And she asks why, because she's like,
because the queen commanded it, my dear.
Which fucking queen is the question?
And it's the queen regent, of course.
Right. But she thinks, Margaery, not quite a queen yet, but she was Renly's. There's the Queen of Thorns, there's Cersei, but yeah, it's Cersei.
So Sansa is convinced that Margaery and Olenna have their hands in this anyway.
Yeah.
She's still dreaming so hard, girl. Like, what you doing?
They may say you're a dreamer.
And she is, man.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Margaery had nothing to do with this shit.
Yeah, I can see why this chapter could be viewed as a regression for Sansa, but for me, this chapter just kind of endeared her to me more.
No, I mean, I can't blame her.
Fucking A, I want this girl to catch a break, and she just can't. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what's so bad about picturing puppies on your lap, man? Like,
no, I didn't.
Doesn't want to die in a puppy
enjoyed
pile?
This a lot more than I expected.
But yeah, it is frustrating because she should know. She should know by this point to not be. I mean, she literally points it out in other girls how silly they are about these songs and these fantasies.
Right.
And she's still so willing to trust.
And it's funny because the Hound has always given her shit about it. And now she's giving these girls this fucking same thought process that the Hound puts on her, but still doesn't believe it and follows her little dreams and songs and stuff.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting that how quickly Olenna was able to, oh, stupid girl, like shit like that, and how it doesn't seem like it's all that big a deal, but that's how Cersei was when we first met her in Game of Thrones. She was very like, oh, pretty son, oh, you're so stupid, but it's okay. Well, and like turned the venom real quick, and so even though Olenna is the Queen of Thorns and known for it, I don't know that necessarily makes it any better than what Cersei did.
Right.
And so I think that she's kind of, again, not seeing that Dantos wasn't necessarily incorrect here when she goes over that, saying that the Tyrells are very much just Lannisters.
Yeah, with roses. The seamstress tells her that Cersei has said that she is a woman grown now and she should not be dressing like a little girl. And Sansa thinks that she did need a new gown because she had just grown fucking 3 inches in the last couple months alone. And the old woman says that you're going to have a full bosom like the queen. You shouldn't try to hide it. And this makes Sansa blush, but she thinks she had been having some trouble lacing her jerkin all the way up to the top. And she had been noticing a stable boy staring at her chest as he helped her into her horse, and some men gawking at her as well. Sansa's growing. Like, she's becoming hot and beautiful. Cersei's a great beauty. Everybody, like, it's well known. So the fact that, like, the seamstress is saying, you're filling up like the queen is, like...
To bring up a point I mentioned in John's chapter before this episode, Ygritte is mentioned as being very plain.
Yeah.
And that if she was amongst the high ladies down south, she would just look like a small folk, a commoner. It would not look attractive. And so we already have this super high standard that, she was an attractive young girl. That's why the prince was thrilled to have her. The Hound is always hounded after her. See what I did there? Littlefinger is always, perving out,
Baelish,
creeping. And so the fact that she is growing older, we know that she just, flowered for the first time. Quite a while ago now.
Yeah, at this point.
Some time has passed. And so, she's becoming a fucking adult is what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's got to be confusing as shit. I think we mentioned it during that episode when she was flowering that, she doesn't have that motherly figure to walk her through these. And, she just doesn't have the greatest people around her to help. So it's kind of nice to see Margaery filling that. But again, like you said, just catch a break.
Yeah, the seamstress tells her that she'll have small clothes and mantles and cloaks and all else befitting a lovely young lady And she kind of does a pause here and then says of noble birth.
Yeah. What do you think the pause was going to be?
Bride?
Yes. That's what I think. 100%.
Bride.
Yes.
Yeah. A bride or a bride of Lannister, a lady of
right.
Lannister.
Or for your wedding.
Yeah.
It's something that would have almost.
So this is actually kind of a contentious point as to what this dress is being made for, because I have a couple of editorial issues.
Yeah, we'll get to those at the end
with
when
this
it
chapter,
gets to
but in searching for information about these editorial issues that I found, I stumbled upon an argument about this seamstress thing and what the dress, because when she does this pause, it was debated as to what she's saying and whether or not it is already known at this point that Sansa is going to be married off to Tyrion. And it is. It's just the language in this chapter makes it confusing, because Sansa in this, I mean, this chapter happens in real time in like maybe 15 minutes of Sansa's life, if that. And it's mainly her recalling the last couple days. She met with Dantos about 2 days ago. And so at this point, by the point she's getting these measurements, she has already told Dantos of the Tyrells' plans to marry her. We know Peter Baelish is back in town. Dantos freaks out when she tells him, runs immediately to Peter Baelish. And in Tyrion's next chapter, we will learn that Tywin will say Baelish has already proved his worth again, because just a couple days past, he brought us word of a Tyrell plot to whisk Lady Stark away and marry her to Willas of Highgarden. And so at this point, the Lannisters probably do know, and this dress most likely is for her wedding to Tyrion.
Right.
And she, however, believes... Well, yeah, so she says, yeah, a lovely young lady of noble birth. And Sansa asks if they'll be ready in time for the king's wedding. And she says, oh, much sooner.
Yeah, which
Her
is, again,
Grace insists.
the hint, which is stating
we've set I have 6 seamstresses and 10 other apprentice workers, and we've set all other work aside. Many ladies will be cross, but the queen commands it.
Yeah, so now that we're here, this chapter is Martin's blatant footpath showing Sansa's getting married to what you think is happening is not happening. 100%, this is stating this dress needs to be ready for an occasion. This is too nice of a dress.
Yeah.
Way too nice. You need to be suitable for a woman of your new station. She's going to be married to a Lannister. And Tywin, I bet, is like, no, get her clothes. She's now going to be a fucking Lannister.
Yeah.
Like, get her the proper attire for this.
Right, she's marrying a Lannister, yeah.
And then, yeah, the wedding dress itself, it's got to be the most amazing thing ever, because it's your fucking wedding. They're not going to let you look that spectacular with Margaery there.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not that she could
right,
Margaery
but,
or whatever, or couldn't.
Don't wear white to a wedding
right,
type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. And so she tells the seamstress to thank the queen for her thoughtfulness, and the lady says yes, the queen is very generous, as she gathers up her things and leaves. And when she was alone, Sansa starts to worry about why the new dress.
Skirt.
Yeah.
What did the seamstress left?
Yeah.
No, we need to make sure that this is on record. The seamstress left here is what we...
The seamstress agrees, yes, the queen is very generous, and she gathered her things and took her leave.
Make note of that,
when
listeners.
Sansa was alone is the next... And check your books, because it's the way it's worded in mine, and it's the way it's worded in Nate's. We have the paperback Storm of Swords, and so... Check your books and just make sure that
people are all over the world and there's
right.
stuff. But we'll come back to this.
Yeah, we'll come back to this.
Remember this moment.
When she was alone, Sansa begins to worry about why. And she's like, why now? Why would the queen give her a dress? She bets that Margaery and her grandmother have their hands in it somehow. Incorrect. Sorry, sweetheart. And Margaery, she thinks, had been very kind, her ladies welcoming Sansa. And she had almost forgotten how pleasant the company of women could be. Lady Leonette gave her lessons on the high harp. Lady Janna shared all the latest gossip. Mary Crane had amazing stories. And little Lady Bulwer reminded her of Arya, though not so fierce. So, this is where I started to feel bad for Sansa. How better to gain this girl's trust? Absolute.
Give her friends
and companions and people like her, and Margaery, who's so sweet and so kind. Sansa's getting played
hard,
and she's getting played well.
So
and
hard.
Marjorie's a fucking player, and fuck, it sucks. Like, because lemon, like, one of our listeners, I can't remember who specifically, Corey mentions the lemon cakes, and like, all right, George, you're beating us over the head. That's to say, like, Olenna made a point of it. We know they're your favorite. They're slowly disarming her and getting her comfortable, and it's working. Margaery is showing her kindness in a city where she's known nothing but scorn and anger, and she's the daughter of a fucking traitor. And so now these beautiful people from Highgarden, the rosiest of rosy places in the Seven Kingdoms, come in with beautiful Loras and sweet, kind, beautiful Margaery.
But the three she was closest in age to were the cousins.
Yeah.
Eleanor, Alla, and Mega. Mega was round and loud, Alla quiet and shy, and Eleanor is the one who's in charge. She's actually a woman, technically. Right. The oldest, the one who's, flowered already.
Yeah, they are from some lesser houses of House Tyrell, and Eleanor quips roses lower on the bush. And she's kind of smart and witty, Sansa knows.
So that's very similar to, I don't know, I thought of the phrase when she said that. Mm-hmm. That we're roses down at the bottom of the bush. We're not really high in succession for anything.
I mean, it's similar to the Karstarks.
Right.
It's those extended branches of the family. And, yeah, sometimes. And this is also crucial for Feast for Crows Margaery stuff.
Right.
These little girls, this sleeping in the bed, this
gossiping,
all of this stuff becomes a trial for the High Sparrow of what Margaery's actually doing with this little gaggle of girls and whether or not there's orgies going on type thing.
Right.
And so the girls had taken Sansa in as if they'd known her all their lives.
Yeah.
Again.
Take
by
her
command,
in.
Right.
Get her to love you. Become her best friend.
And
doing needlework all day, eating lemon cakes.
Over lemon cakes,
and
playing tiles, singing in the sept, and then often one or two would be chosen to share Margaery's bed.
Her favorite things.
Where they'd giggle all the night away. Yeah. All of Sansa's favorite things, all representative of a place that is almost fairy tale in its lore.
So I think that at the moment, clearly, the reason that she's sharing the bed is so that she can get that person's information.
Their gossip, yeah.
Give me, what did you learn about Sansa? What did she tell you? Who does she love? Who does she care about? Who's she talking? Like, anything.
Right.
Everything.
All of it's something to gain the trust of Sansa, yeah. And then we learn that Mega is absolutely insane about being kissed. She just wants a kiss. And her and Alla would play kissing games sometimes, but Mega says it's not the same as kissing a man. And Sansa wonders what Mega would think of her kissing the Hound. And I just love it because that thought felt very Arya to me. Of like,
right,
I've killed a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I kissed the Hound. Like,
almost like it's a mark.
A badge of honor. And like, I survived that
almost
encounter.
see it more as a scar. That like,
well,
look what I've got here.
Right,
like,
it certainly isn't from a place of power.
Right.
And
it's almost strange. And again, it's that she can't catch a fucking break, you know, because that's what she is related, and she says it to them even, or thinks it about them soon, about how these silly, stupid girls, because it's actually, I think, right then that she's mentions how...
Well, because next it's Mega starts gushing over the fact that Sansa was set aside. And she's like, how you must have wept.
Right,
and Sansa again thinks, Joffrey made me weep more often than you'd think, but not for the reasons you would think. Yeah. Like... But so she doesn't say anything.
And that's where she thinks, like, these little girls are still swept up in their songs. Actually, that's after they talk about her.
Well, they talk about how Eleanor was promised to a son of Lord Ambrose once he enters Spurs.
Right. And they're talking about how gallant he was in the Battle of Blackwater. And that's where she's like, these stupid girls.
She wants her husband to kiss her and then kill 100 men.
Right.
And Sansa's like...
You've never seen a man
You've never seen battle,
Like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're living in your stupid songs and your stupid dreams and you're just stupid little girls. Which I'm pretty sure she has literally said to herself.
Their dreams were full of stories and songs as Sansa's had been before Joffrey took her father's head off. Sansa pitied them. Sansa envied them. I mean...
she has more wisdom than they may at this point. I mean, she's clearly...
She does. She absolutely does. She's being played by people who are better at this.
But at the same time, these ones might specifically be playing her as well.
I don't think they're playing her.
I think that they were, hey, go be friends with her. And then Margaery's playing them the same.
Right. I think later on in Feast, when things start getting a little more intense with Margaery, Mega, Alla, and Eleanor. Maybe Eleanor knows, but I think Alla and the youngest one are... Mega and Alla are just too little.
Yeah, but Eleanor would make sense. But yeah, it's...
Sansa's getting played by people who are better, and in a way that she's not used to yet.
And they're counterplaying her. She's the piece. She's the pawn that's being played between the
Tyrells and Lannisters.
Because she is just a hostage there.
I mean, she's a claim, as Dantos tells her drunkenly.
Soon.
And yeah, but however, Margaery was sweet and gentle, but had a little of her grandmother in her as well. 2 days ago, she had taken Sansa hawking, Sansa's first time out of the city since the Battle of Blackwater. And the dead were moved, but the Mudgate is still a mess from Stannis' ram, and some charred ship holes poke up from the river like charred fingers.
So this is a fucking power play by Margaery. I think this is a huge play for her.
Oh, yeah?
Because I think it's the freedom. She's teasing her with freedom. We're getting you out of the castle walls. Like, you've been trapped with the Lannisters, and she's not free to leave. If she tried to run, she would be run down.
Right, they have guards.
But she's allowed to go out of and with Margaery by her side, almost with that impunity now. Like, oh, I've got the next queen, and so I can leave the castle. And so I just think that's a big step for Margaery to, again, gain the trust of Sansa by doing this. Something that Cersei could have done, sent her out to different places or done things. I mean, I suppose not during war, but
yeah.
I just think it's a big thing for Margaery to have done here.
They're ferried across to the Kingswood, where they find a wilderness of ash and dead trees, but the hawking is good because there's plenty of birds around. And they managed to take some down. And when they were alone, Margaery tells Sansa that Willas just has the absolute best birds, which Corey has a really interesting point to make on this when we get to his email that I certainly didn't pick up on.
I didn't either, and I have so much to say about it.
So, yeah, well, we'll get to your question, Corey, because it's a very good, interesting point. But she also then calls her sister and gives her hand a squeeze, and Sansa just thinks she had always dreamt of a sister like Margaery, gentle and beautiful. Arya had been most unsatisfactory as far as sisters went. And Sansa panics. How can I let my sister marry Joffrey?
So she always, as soon as she has somebody to look up to, is throwing Arya back onto the bus. I mean, again, she semi-complimented her earlier by saying that the little girl there isn't quite Lady Bulwer,
so fierce.
Isn't as fierce as Arya, and then a little bit later in the chapter,
one of her children
it kind of looks like Arya as well, but that's a dream, and so it's a little more the subconscious floating in that she does want her sister, but man, after all you've been through, that's still pretty freaking fierce. Like, I mean, and it's not, there's nothing wrong with knowing, oh, I've always wanted a sister like this, and being too young to realize it's not saying, I wish that Arya was this. I would have preferred her over that. No, I just wish there were either another sister that I could have bonded with that way, or you managed to, pretend you liked it enough where it was fun to do together. But, yeah, I just... It's so sweet, and it breaks my heart that little Sansa's gonna get fucked.
She tells Margaery not to marry Joffrey and tells her that he'll hurt you, and Margaery smiles confidently. I shouldn't think so. I'll have Sir Loras. My father forced him to appoint Sir Loras to the King's Guard, and so I'll have one of the fiercest knights in the Seven Kingdoms to protect me. So I believe our little lion had best behave. And then she laughs and says that they should race back. It would drive their guards absolutely mad, and without waiting for an answer, she kicks off. Does Margaery know about the murder plot?
I think so.
She smiles confidently and says, I don't think he's going to fucking hurt me one bit.
I'm fairly certain she does, because...
And then she, makes it about Loras to give that gallant... simple girl explanation of my brother will protect me because knights are valiant, but
yeah, because
he's gonna be fucking murdered by my grandma.
I just feel like the Tyrells do have that advantage over the Lannisters where they work together.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. Absolutely.
Because if Tywin and Cersei aligned, if Tywin, Cersei, and Tyrion, who could stop that? Like, you have the most brilliant strategic mind in Tywin, one of the top political minds in Tyrion, and just the swagger of fucking Cersei. Not that all three don't have their type, but she's got that. She's the face of the world, and just. Fuck, man. The
Tyrell, and I think that's what it is. The Tyrells are a cohesive unit. Mace is kind of a dipshit.
I think he's a pawn to Olenna.
Right.
He does what Mom
I feel
says.
like Olenna has certainly been like, Margaery is she's the heir that I want and who I'm putting my money on. Loras is sort of her in the wings protector.
Right.
But I think Margaery is who Olenna's fucking cashing her chips in on, and I think Margaery is 100% in on.
It just would make things easier for Olenna to work everything out if she has Margaery.
Well, right, and then with everything they've heard, how confident she still is.
Right.
And, like, if Margaery is a player, which it seems to be, she wouldn't just be like, because I have one Kingsguard.
Right.
Like, because Sansa kind of goes on to think, like, she's so brave, but there are other Kingsguard and Gold Cloaks and Red Cloaks besides. Margaery fucking knows that.
Right.
Margaery obviously knows what happened to Ned Stark. Everyone knows that the Gold Cloaks betrayed him and fucking grabbed him up. Like, so...
She's got something else in mind.
She's got something else in mind.
Transition of power.
Right.
You know, how it should go.
Let's not get too topical. So, Joffrey, she thinks, may restrain himself, but sooner or later he'll show his claws. And then, well, the realm may have a second Kingslayer in Sir Loras.
Man, so if Margaery wasn't already completely aware of the whole thing, Sansa does show a bit of wisdom in this thinking process.
I love that. Oh my goodness.
From the one night can't stop anything, and then it evolves from, like, because all the guards that they would have against you, but if you were to just have that one night, the way he could succeed is becoming the next fucking
And then she thinks there'd be war within the Red Keep, and then probably war in the Seven Kingdoms even further. And so... But if Margaery isn't worried about it, she must be being silly. So she thinks Margaery must be wiser than her.
Right.
And then we cut to when she told Sir Dantos of the Tyrell marriage, he freaked the fuck out. You cannot. These Tyrells are Lannisters with flowers. Promise me, give me a kiss on the cheek, and promise me you'll go ahead as we planned. And Sansa kind of skirts away from his kiss, and she's like, I won't. I can't.
I don't need you anymore. I don't need the boats to fucking ferry me off and shit. Like, I'm good. We got something else in mind.
The Tyrells care nothing for you. Sweet Jonquil, open your eyes. It is your claim they want. And she's like, my claim? And he's like, you're the heir to Winterfell, brah. And so she wrenched away from him and left him swaying there under the heart tree. And she hadn't been back since.
Nope.
Fuck you. And yeah, Dantos ran off and told Littlefinger immediately.
Right.
And Littlefinger went and told Tywin because he needs Sansa in the city. He can't have her in Highgarden.
Right.
So, fucking A. His words stuck with her, though, because she thinks, why would Willas want Winterfell when he has Highgarden, which is... pretty
very, very
naive to think.
Oh, he has the most beautiful of land, like in keeps and castles. Why would he want dreary, drab wintry fell? Like
the power.
Right.
So some nights she'd whisper his name, Willas, into her pillow just to see how it sounded, and she thinks to herself that it sounds awful close to Loras, so that's cool. And she pictures them sitting together with puppies on their lap and taking pleasure barges and...
little children running around that she'd name Brandon and Rickon and fucking little Eddard or something.
Yeah, we'll teach them to be as noble as Sir Loras and to hate Lannisters. All right.
Whew.
Let's chill out, Sansa. We're getting...
little racist there, or namesist.
Namesist. In her dreams, yes, her children looked like the brothers she had lost, and one little girl even slightly resembled Arya. But every time she pictured Willas, it would slowly change back into Loras. And she thinks that you can't think of him like that, or he'll see disappointment when they met.
So...
and he might be the only champion she ever has.
It's incredibly difficult for her to dream and imagine what somebody looks like if she's never seen them. Who can blame her for it slipping to the one person?
Sansa's going to be her own champion.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, he's the only champion she'll ever have. Fuck that shit.
Thing.
She's going to start handling shit herself.
Well, it's almost not funny at all, but almost funny in the way that she has, like, 4 or 5 champions between
Well,
Joffrey
like, what better way to
and...
break the damsel in distress trope than she's not in distress. Like, Sansa's learning and growing right now. Literally, we're told that. Her breasts are growing. Her height is growing. Sansa is learning and growing and every fucking day that
physically
she spends.
And mentally and strategically.
And so soon, she's not going to need any man or woman to swoop in and save her because she's going to do it her fucking self. Like, and that became apparent here just with the language Martin is using. Like, this girl is so desperate for a champion, she's going to find it in herself. Fucking come on, yo. Like, Sansa's the shit. And so, I lost my place because I got excited.
That's okay. Sometimes, though, one night she did dream that she was still
PTSD,
the one
marrying Joffrey. And on their wedding night, he turned into Sir Ilan Payne, and she awoke trembling. Yeah, that's just fucking...
That's just a nightmare.
PTSD from her father,
that's
and
called a nightmare.
Being with Joffrey, yeah.
And, that's not a dream,
it's
Sansa.
Fucking shitty bullshit.
Yeah, no good.
She doesn't want Margaery to suffer as she did, but fears them calling off the wedding and thinks, I warned her. I did. I told her the truth of him. And she will see his true nature soon enough. So Sansa decides that next time she goes to the Sept, she'll light a candle to the mother to protect Margaery from Joffrey's cruelty, and perhaps a candle to the warrior for Loras as well. I'm assuming just for protection, or just because she likes him as well.
Right.
She decides she'd all right. As the seamstress took her leave.
Wait, what did you just say?
Remember that seamstress again.
Hold on, what did you just say?
As the seamstress took her leave, Sansa decides she will wear the gown.
Mine says took her last measurements.
Oh,
sorry. As the seamstress took her last measurements, which is funny, because the seamstress left, and Sansa was alone. But apparently, as the seamstress takes her last measurements, she's reappeared back in the room.
It's bothering the shit out of me.
How does that work?
I don't like it.
How does that work, people? Are we crazy?
That's the editorial issue I had an issue with, because yes, the seamstress is very clearly described as leaving, and Sansa specifically thinks that when she's alone, she worries about why the gown is being made. And then here we get when the seamstress is taking her last measurements, she's deciding that she's going to wear it to the wedding ceremony. Is that just a typo type thing that the editors didn't catch, or are we just reading the language wrong or weird? Because I don't know.
Well, it's weird. We don't.
And so people like Julian, who try to listen to help get the
sorry, this one's fucked.
This one's fuckity.
This
what
isn't
the
our
shit.
They did something weird here, Martin or the editors or somebody.
Anyway, let us know. Yeah, let us know if we're just dumb. But check your books. It's weird. So, yeah, she decides she'll wear it for the ceremony at the Baelor's Great Sept. That must be why Cersei's having it made, so she wouldn't be shabby at the wedding. But she thinks she should have a different gown for the feast after. She doesn't want to get that one dirty, but one of her old gowns will have to do for the feast, because she wants to take the nice gown with her to Highgarden, so that Willas will see her in it. Because even if it is Winterfell that he wants, he may come to love her for herself.
Yeah.
So she hugs herself tightly and wonders how long until the gown is finished. She can hardly wait to wear it.
And this is Martin being a son of a fucking bitch again,
because the gown being done means she's getting married to Tyrion.
He has her excited and remember, she couldn't wait for Joffrey's wedding to get the fuck out of there. So she was still like that day.
Right.
And now it's this dress that she has no idea.
She's inadvertently excited for her own wedding that she's an unwilling participant in. Yes. Actually, both of them will be unwilling.
Yeah, he's not for this.
But that's the end of Sansa 2. And, I mean, I think it's a great chapter.
I thought it was a spectacular
sucks
chapter.
Because I think it's very clear how well the Tyrells are playing it. They're offering Sansa the one thing she has not gotten in this fucking city, which is kindness and a place to just relax and smile and eat and gossip and play tiles and be the fucking kid that she is and the young lady that she is. Like, so, you know, I think people give Sansa a little too much, and I was one of them, but I see why people are on the Sansa ship, and I'm there. She's gonna end up being her own fucking champion in this world.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be awesome.
Almost makes me think if Brienne wasn't as physically challenged
she's gonna be the Cersei that Cersei wants to be, where she doesn't need to have sex with people
or
because
make the people
will
fear her.
respect her and will just listen and do it. And everything that Cersei fears is not going to be a concern to Sansa because people are going to love the Queen of the North. She's going to be Queen of the North.
Well, that's what's going to be awesome is that she's going to utilize these fucking tricks and traits that she's learned from Cersei, that she's learning from Margaery and Olenna, that she's learning from
potentially
Littlefinger,
Daenerys,
and whoever else. And then we'll retain that Ned Stark honor that we saw and talked about that's so prevalent in Jon and Robb.
Right.
We
and
see
the girls,
it in Arya,
yes.
we see it in Sansa. And so, of course, she's going to have that honor, and she's going to show us, fuck Robb, fuck Jon, Robb fucked it. He didn't do, that's his fault. Yep. I didn't marry, I was forced to marry these motherfuckers. Right. This isn't my shit.
No, I didn't do any marriage choice.
I was a hostage, bitches.
Right.
So I think it's going to be fucking awesome.
I think it's the Stark girls who are going to take it in the end.
Yeah.
Be way more important than any of the Stark guys, besides maybe Jon Snow, who isn't technically a Stark.
Yeah, he's the bastard.
The mix, the Targaryen
yep.
Stark mix, hybrid. So with that, we'll convene our small council and get some inductees going.
Man.
Cool.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Sorry, I was doing that off air, and then I decided to keep doing it.
Is that the Jetsons?
No, it's I Dream of Genie, I think.
Oh, God.
Maybe? I don't know.
I think you're right.
I think so. What up? Welcome to the Small Council, where we talk about Game of Thrones stuff. So.
And I Dream of Genie.
Yeah, man.
We got some great inductees for Sansa 2 that we'll get to, but...
What's yours?
Mine is going to go...
Wow.
Yeah, I had the one I wanted to give it to, but I'm going to change it. I think I'm going to... It's been between Loras. I'm giving it to Loras. Because it was between Willas and Loras. But I just really like the way... I mean, they become interchangeable, but Loras, Loras is the guy she wants. And, there's nothing wrong with that. She's attracted to him. She's been told the other dude is comely enough, but, he's lame. Loras is this valiant, sweet, badass knight who's proven his valor. I don't hold it against her. And like you said, it's hard to picture someone you've never seen. And so, especially if you know, what their brother looks like, you're obviously going to start adding features to that. So, yeah, I think Sir Loras.
I have a few things to mention about your inductee. Because I fucking love Willas. That's fucking... And Loras is tight as shit anyway. So I think that both of them are going to have a lot more... Well, Willas will get some, but Loras will have more face time. We're going to be dealing with them a lot more come...
and Loras dying.
Winds of Winter. I mean, who isn't somebody always basically dying at some point throughout this series?
All right, for real? That's what you're going to go with?
That's
Jesus Christ. Oh, we're all slowly aging, so we're all slowly dying.
Anyway, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Willas will be.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I hope they do pop up in wins just because Highgarden's an interesting place. I want to know. And thankfully, the books haven't gotten us to a point where, the fucking Tyrells all blow up in a fucking explosion. So, I hope there's more to it where Margaery gets a couple one-ups on Cersei and or at least we get a definitive, because, I don't necessarily think that it's Marjorie's going to win the Game of Thrones or anything like that, but I'd like to at least get some confirmation as to whether or not she's a player and
that they are,
and whether or not she's actually been involved, had a hand in it directly type thing, where it's not just Olenna. Margaery is the player that we kind of all question whether or not how much she's active in it. Yeah, so that should be cool.
Nice.
You got an inductee?
Yeah, I'm giving mine to Sansa.
Sansa?
Yeah, she just she's for all the reasons we talked about the whole thing, like, I feel bad because she just can't catch a break.
Yeah, it's
But,
shitty.
like, I'm proud of this little chick because she's, like, she's learning all this shit. She's growing into this badass. Like, I know everyone always talks about how badass Arya is. Sansa's turning into a badass all on her own.
Right.
Like, the shit she's going to be capable of is, I think it's going to impress the fuck out of even Arya.
That's what when I brought up, like, the kiss with the hound, like, right now it's a scar. I think she's going to start using that as her, like, look at what I did. I faced down the hound. Like,
yeah.
I sang for him, and he cried, and, like, he was begging me for me to go with him. Like, and I wasn't scared when I think about it. Like, yeah, I was scared but I wasn't really fucking scared. Like, I did it. I handled it, and I think eventually all of that shit, Joffrey, she's going to use it as her power of, like...
Well, like Tyrion says,
never
use
again.
What bothers you the most.
Use it as your armor yourself in it. Yeah, and I think that's exactly what she's going to do, where it's, nah, fuck this shit. It ain't ever happening again. So, we did get some inductees. We got a Raven from the Dreadfort, from Corey, that says, hey guys, glad you gents are feeling better. Thank you. Short and sweet. I still don't get Sansa. She's comparing her old self to Margaery's cousins, that everything in the world is unicorns and rainbows, but then she dreams of sitting in a garden with puppies on her lap. Also, George, enough with the lemon cakes. We all know it's her favorite. As I said, I think it's all just, the lemon cakes especially are just disarming her. Like, the Tyrells are playing her good, and the puppies, like...
See, that's what I think is...
I like the puppies.
Is with the lemon cakes, is they're there as this obvious,
right,
thing.
temptation.
Like, this is this obvious, like, if they're giving her these, then you know that they are trying to...
Well, when life gives you lemons... No, I mean, it's that there's that temptation. If it's too sweet, if a deal is too sweet to be true, it probably is. There's this literal fucking stack of lemon cake. Like, I really do think George is trying to use that as a literary device to say,
exactly,
this is too sweet of a deal. This is too good to be true.
Right.
This is Sansa's favorite thing in the world. Like,
anytime there's the lemon cakes, these people are fucking...
They suck.
Right. They're not good people.
And then he asks, did Margaery hint that Willas is a warg? And he quotes, he flies an eagle sometimes.
Corey, you motherfucker.
So Nate has been all obsessed, especially since our Patreon episode, if you're a Patreon listener, where we discussed that Arianne, and there are wargs reported to be as far south as, like, the forests of Dorne and some of the
outskirts.
The
there.
outskirts.
And just
outskirts.
When Arianne was there, was visiting one of the keeps there, one of the girls was talked about being lame.
Yeah.
And strange, because she was doing things
Seeing
that were very
dragons.
green seer, very warg
talking
possible,
about dragons flying over
doing
to
all
eat
sorts
them.
of shit.
Yeah.
And so it got me just obsessed with the idea that why are wargs and
Willas is a
green
broken
seers?
Man.
And right. And
like
that,
Bran.
and so I wanted to mention earlier when we were actually in the chapter, but because of your email, I had to hold on to it. Just because, maybe he's doing the same shit Bran did. Like, he fell. Whatever the I forget what the reason.
His horse fell on him.
Right. And just that struggle of, I'm never going to walk or ride again. He's got a fucking eagle, dude.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And just a chapter ago, we learned about a man who is literally trapped inside an eagle.
What the fuck, man? Like, how did I oversee this for so many years?
So,
Corey, you're my fucking hero.
So, question. What would happen if Sansa did go and marry him and they produced offspring? Like, would that be like
if their bloodline
a powerful warg?
Like, that's cool.
Like, if he actually is and I think Corey,
I hear it skips a generation, so maybe the
Corey. I think you're onto something, Corey. Like, it could absolutely be that and I mean, that would make sense for how smart the Tyrells are.
I fucking love it.
If they have a fucking warg among them who's doing some shit, like,
spectacular.
So, great question. Thank you, Corey. And then he
eagle
says,
eye there, Corey. Zach's
well, no, we're just gonna let that sit for a minute. But Corey says his inductee is the Queen Regent, not sparing any cost for Sansa's gown. Cheers, Corey from the Dreadfort. So thank you, Corey. Great question. Man. Great inductee.
Awesome. I am going to take the next inductee, all the way from France.
Oh!
It's our buddy Julian. Hello, my friends. As I write those words, you just went to vote for your future president.
Hey.
Well done, hopefully. Yo.
It was well done. It's just a
did.
mess now.
We did.
Because
we voted correctly.
This is fucking ridiculous.
We apologize on behalf of whoever we can for what you're seeing happen here. It's insanity, man. It's insanity, man. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Anyway, back to
Julian's email.
Interesting chapter that kind of was a pain to read. It felt to me like Sansa took a step down, back to her kind of annoying behavior. It's not the same at all, but superficially, and child's dreams came back to the surface.
Yeah.
As for his inductee, it's gonna be the stable boy. Wink, wink. Valar Buberus.
So, I would like to assume that the stable boy is like 15, 16. So, like, it's not weird. And it's only weird with the men that Sansa notes are looking at her now. So, like,
I think he would be even a little younger than that. I would say 10 to 12 is a more likely age for the stable boy. And that is not an insane response for a kid that age.
That's going to be my headcanon anyway, because, like, I don't want to picture, like
a 40-year-old
stable boy. Look at this pretty lady.
No, so thank you, Julian.
Thank you, Julian.
We love your emails, as always.
We did also get an inductee from Karen, and Karen says, for Sansa, poor Sansa, so excited but still wary about her new dress, not knowing she will be wearing it to marry Tyrion. I think that's the saddest fucking point of all. And I, to your point, Karen, I think that's a credit to Martin of how well he focuses that lens of this is what Sansa sees with this dress. She's convinced Margaery and Olenna have something to do with it. It's because you're getting married to Tyrion, my girl. Like, so Karen goes on to say her inductee, Willas Tyrell, or at least Sansa's version of him. He gives her hope for the future, and it's been so long since she's had that, and it won't last long.
I think Willis would have done good.
I really think it could have been a good matching. Absolutely.
Because I think he would have almost humbled her by being lame. Like, because she... And not that she needs humbling. Like, it's not to say that...
But I feel like he'd be the one to give her the puppies that she wants.
And he would... From what I've read about him and such so far... He seems like he would treat her well. And, and she says they could learn, and I know that's fucked in today's society, but he could learn to love her. She could learn to love him. Right. It's that, that Ned Catelyn thing.
The forced marriage, it's a rough circumstance.
And it's not necessarily, and granted, at this point, she's settling.
Right.
Like, because anything's better than any of the stuff that she could have.
She's been offered.
But, yeah, I think they could have been cool together.
Yeah, I think and I mean, again, it's not... For Sansa's refusal, it's because Tywin marries her to Tyrion and shit gets out of hand. But, yeah, who knows? I really hope that that's a storyline, at least the Highgarden Willis thing comes up again. Loras absolutely will have to because Loras is doing some shit actively, or dying actively. But Willis would be cool to see pop back up in future chapters.
I'm convinced he will be.
Well, thank you all for writing in. If you would like to write in as Karen, Corey, and Julian did, you can hit us up in many ways.
Yeah, of course, he's going to get that look to make me have to say all the socials because he's like, I don't know any of these here.
Do it!
So, Facebook.com/Brotherhood Podcast. I'm on Twitter @MannersWithout. Zach is on Twitter.
Carstark92, I know that one.
Fucking good for you. We're on Instagram @MannersWithout as well. We have the Patreon, patreon.com/WithoutManners. Our email, which is where most people tend to write in their inductees, is withoutmannersbrotherhood@gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
So hit us up. Let us know what you think. Leave us a review.
That'd be sweet.
Please. And, give us some stars, subscribe, the usual stuff. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Breaker, Stitcher.
Next episode, we're reading Arya.
Spotify. YouTube.
Yeah,
dude, don't forget. Dude, YouTube. What is up, people?
Yeah, YouTube's going ham.
I like it.
Let's go hound ham.
Anyway, yes, next episode we will be reading is Arya 3. That will come out on the normal date and time.
Which will be Friday.
And we should be, on that episode, announcing, because our first guest is set to appear on Tyrion 3. So we go Arya 3. Sam 1.
Oh.
and then Tyrion 3.
Oh, shit.
And so Tyrion 3 is set to have our first guest. However, that person hasn't confirmed the time just yet. We're scheduled to go this weekend sometime and record, but the time, and I want to make sure we have that locked in before I announce their name.
Righto.
And so it will likely be on Arya's episode, Arya 3, where we make the announcement of who the first guest will be of the season. And that will be on Tyrion 3.
That'll be sweet.
So, you got anything else?
No.
No, you never
Send us
do.
inductees for Arya 3.
And Samwell 1.
And Samwell 1.
And then, what is that? Dude, Samwell have some of the best chapters, because Samwell is plural. And I'm so excited for Sam chapters, dude. I heart Sam so much.
Yeah,
Fuck
me
you,
too.
you will too.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna. Get the sour face off, you fucking... Fuck you. We'll catch you on the next one.
Valadares!
Peace.